Welcome to the Perfect Mind Martial Arts Day 3 webinar. Today we're going to talk about how to use your lounge, your albums, how to embed forms, and we're going to talk about money as well. We'll also talk about how to add new pages and tabs. The first thing that we're going to get started with is going to be our albums here. So what you want to do is make sure you're on your social site and go to albums. When you're on albums, you'll see maybe a default album or two in here from the program. You can also make your own albums. You want to click on New Album to make your own. You want to name your album. So something like maybe it was a tournament, or maybe you had like a seasonal event, maybe even a summer camp. Something that, you want to try and entice people to look at this album. And you also want to use these albums to help entice new people to sign up and hopefully become students with your school. So name your album. Select who gets to see it. So you can choose, say, from company or member. If you just have it as company, it could be, say, an internal event like a holiday party. If you set it up as a member-only album, you want to try and entice people to sign up to become members on your social site so that they'll be able to view that album. When they sign up to become a member on your social site, you've captured their information as a lead and hopefully you'll be able to market to them. So you may have specialized albums you can mention are member-only access, or you have to sign up to access them, and you'd set those as member. Okay, and those kind of albums could be like, flying kicks, cool moves, different kinds of styles that you have, anything basically that people would want to sign up to see. You also have all. So all or public, same idea, will allow everyone to see the album. So those kinds of albums could be just about anything. They could have, the same things we mentioned before, like cool moves, patterns, styles, camps, tournaments, anything like that. You really want to be able to display what your school does to help bring in new students. You also want to be able to display a lot of photos of existing students so that parents and friends will want to visit your website to see their friends' pictures up on the album. So that's kind of the grasp of how you want to use them, how you want to name them, and how you want to, show them off and who you want to show them to. You'll also be able to choose the file. So this is going to be your album cover. When you click on this button, you'll be able to select an image from your hard drive. It will not appear right away. It'll just be this gray square, but once you save, it's going to pop up. You can also feature your album, so there's a featured checkbox here, and what that does is it puts the album above your other albums. So say if you have 15 albums, you might have 3 of them featured because those are either your most recent or maybe the most active or viewed albums, pretty much, anything you want to feature. So I'm going to cancel out of here, and I'll show you here. This is what a featured album looks like. So I only have 2. You can see that the album is still in my list, but it's also up on display here because it's a featured album. So I could have several albums above the others. When I want to add a photo to my album, there's actually a spot after I save or when I click on my album that's going to allow me to be able to add photos, and that says New Media. Okay, so once you're in your album here, you can go to New Media. When you're in New Media, you'll be able to choose your image just like you did before from your hard drive. You can add in a caption if you want, and you can also add a video link. So if you have maybe a YouTube video that goes along with this photo, maybe like the photos of a flying kick, and you actually have a video to go along with it, enter that address here, so whatever the URL happens to be, and there will actually be a little working copy of that video here. Once you're done, go ahead and save. When your photos are all together, you'll be able to see previous and next buttons along with them. You'll also be able to share and comment on the photos. Okay, so you can leave a comment, you can share to Facebook, Twitter, you can email it to your friends. This little orange plus here, it's going to give you about 200 to 300 more options for sharing. There are so many social sharing sites out there. You can also like the photo. So it's not just you that can do this. You can make this visible to the public, or you can also just have it so that your members can like and share the albums as well. If at any point you need to edit or delete a photo, your options are available. These options are also available for the album. Our next section we're going to talk about is our lounge. So our lounge is going to be our main communication area. We're going to be able to send out, basic posts from here and let it share onto our Facebook. We can create blogs so we can actually talk about promotions or events in our school and in our community. And we can also use the interactive FAQ area called questions, which kind of works a little bit like a Google search, but for, frequently asked questions within your school and your organization. So first we need to make sure that your lounge is set up. Now, if we've designed a page for you or we've helped you kind of go through those motions and mask your site, which means that instead of having PerfectMIND in there, you just have, your name. You can actually have us help you set that up. Now, if you're just setting this up on your own or it's like a member area, you can actually go to Settings. You can go to Lounge, and you want to click on Facebook Sync. If you've already connected with Facebook, your Facebook information will pop up. So I had been recently in Facebook within the browser, so that's why it's popped up. Now, if you haven't, there will be a blue Facebook logo that is available to you. You can click on it. You'll sign in with Facebook just like normal, so there'll be a little spot for you to enter your username and information. And at that point, it will probably ask you, at least the first time you do this, if you want to allow PerfectMIND to access your information. And that's fine. All we're doing with the information is sharing it from your lounge to Facebook and from Facebook to your lounge. When you look at what's connected here, you'll see that there's my personal page as well as my actual business page. So my personal page is not actually connected, you can see that, but my business page is. When you first come in here, both things will probably not be connected. Most people will not want to connect their personal page, which is fine. But it is important to connect your business page so that there is that open line of communication. How you connect it is totally up to you. So you can say, I want to sync from the lounge to Facebook, so that means I just want lounge stuff to go into my Facebook wall. I can also say, I want to sync from Facebook to my lounge, so I only want the information from Facebook to come to my lounge. Lastly, I can sync both ways. Personally, this is my preferred favorite. This is a nice open line of communication between the two applications. Once I've just selected how I want to share, I'll click on Connect. If at any point I realize I've made a mistake, I've selected the wrong option, or maybe I accidentally connected my personal wall, you can always click Disconnect. Now we're going to talk about how to also connect your personal user. So you can see here, this is a picture from my Facebook, and it's connected to my profile. When you first log in, you'll probably have just sort of like a little silhouette here. If you want to connect it, click on Edit My Profile, and then you can link to your Facebook account. So I'm going to show you how that initially looks. There is going to be a blue button here, just like we would see if we were connecting our lounge to our fan page. Once again, like I said kind of before, it's going to ask you to log into your Facebook. So I'll log in. It's now going to ask me, is that me? And I can click Link Now. Once that link is created, my picture will appear next to my name on my lounge. Now, connecting this doesn't mean that a bunch of lounge information is going to start pouring into your personal page. All this does is it changes up your picture, and if you were to like something, it will automatically create that like on your Facebook homepage. Just like if you are liking anything else on Facebook, it would do the same thing. The first level of using our lounge is going to be the most simplified level, which is creating a post. When we create a post, it's very much like going onto Facebook and just writing something up that we would normally say when we're posting on our fan page. For example, it's great, it's sunny out today, let's do our runs outside. So with that, you would simply type in what you'd like to say. If you want, you can actually add a photo of maybe somebody running or the sunshine or your logo, anything you want to add in there. Click on the button, a Choose File option will appear. Same as before, select from your hard drive, and then click Post. So that is going to pop up onto Facebook. Comments can be made here. It can be liked. If you need to, you can always edit and delete a post. And on Facebook, the same options are going to apply. The next level is probably my favorite part, which is the blog. With a blog, you'll be able to actually write a title, description, photo, and an entire blog about whatever it is you want to say. So with this, you want to build a few things. One is a sense of community and a place that your contacts feel welcome. So they can come in, they can communicate, they can make comments on the different blogs, and they can learn from being within your site. You don't necessarily want it to be just promotion, 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 because then it looks like an advertisement board and people will probably stop visiting if they think that you're just always trying to sell to them. So you want to be able to add in information here they may not find anywhere else. It could be nutritional information, bully prevention information, watching for signs of bullying, maybe even things for the parents. These are different things that you might want to put on here that will help your community within your school and, outside of your school as well. So some of those things, for example, you could even just have something basic like we're having an open house or a movie night. And you also maybe want to throw in a few shameless promotions here and there. So once they know that it's not all promotion, you can put in a couple promotions because they are going to be helpful. Like if you're having a bully prevention workshop or a nutrition workshop, these are things that you could be communicating about and then later on say, you know what, we've got this cool workshop coming up. So those are kind of the ways you want to tie this in all together. And of course with this, the parts that go to Facebook are going to be the photo, the title, and then also the short description. The rest of it, they'll click on that and it'll bring them back into your social site. I'll give you a quick example. Maybe the title will be open house. The short description I can say, it's going to be, I could say like June 2nd, 9 to 5. So you want to put a little bit of descriptive information here. Even I feel this is a little bit short, you might want to put in a little bit more information to entice people to actually want to click on the link here. So we're going to add the photo as well. Once again, choose File, select it from your hard drive, and then you're going to basically use this little HTML editor to help you design what you want to say. You can be as advanced or simplistic as you like. There are some ways to kind of use this system that will be a little complicated, such as using tables or inserting different kinds of links. It's up to your skill level. A lot of people are just as happy just seeing pictures and having some text to go along with it. So very basic. It's like using Microsoft Word. You can type in what you want to say. You've got bold, italic, and underline. You've also got font color or highlighting. If you want, you can also add in a link. So you can highlight what you want to link and click on the little link button, put in that URL. You can also add a photo. So when you click on Insert, you can either enter the URL of the photo you want to use or click on Browse Server. Browse Server will actually take you to any photos that you've already uploaded in the past. If you want to add something from your hard drive, click on Upload a File. Here you can select the photo once again from your hard drive. Once you've got your photo in there, you'll also be able to review its height and width. You can add a border if you like, and there's also horizontal and vertical spacing. So what these two basically mean is how close can the picture be to the text. So I'm just going to grab a photo real quick here. So I'm not going to put any spacing or alignment in. I'm going to go OK. Alright, so you can see here's my photo. Now it's not aligning with the text at all. So what we can do is you can right click on it and you can go back to Image Properties. You can change the size if you want. If you want to make sure that it stays proportionate, make sure the little lock is closed. So I'm just going to make this 300. I'm going to add in some horizontal spacing, say maybe 15. And that's just side to side. The vertical would be the top and the bottom. And alignment, I'm going to align it left and OK. Now you can see that my text is nicely spaced from my photo and it's aligned. So you can use that for alignment, you can move it around, lots of different options here, fonts, sizes, and even tables if you're familiar with tables. If you do know source code, you can always click on the source button. And if you'd like more options, Advanced will give you more options. If you like to work full screen, click on the spiky blue box. Click on it again to return back to the normal size. Once you're done, you can post. Like I said, the post will go onto Facebook with the photo, the title, and the description. They'll be able to click on any part of this that will open up to this page. For example, if I click on this post, you can see that it opens up right here. Okay, so this was obviously made by a bit of an advanced user, but you can see how far you can actually go through to create different types of blogs. And click on CL Blogs to return back. The last part of this is our questions. So this is the interactive FAQ area. So in here you may see some preloaded questions. I always recommend that you preload in some questions as well. For example, what should I wear to my first class? What should I bring with me? Do you offer intros? What time are you guys open? Those are different questions that you're going to see people asking, and they're questions that you should try to preload into the system. What happens is if I'm just a visitor, I know myself that I've preloaded some questions in here. Now, I'm just a public person, I'm just visiting, and I want to know the hours of operation. As soon as I start typing in hours, I'll actually see an available option. If I click on it, it will take me right to the answer. To create a new question, you're just going to type in whatever the question is going to be. So maybe I can ask, are you open on holidays? Okay, so this is me preloading a question. I'll click on Ask, and you'll see the question available now. Of course, your contacts will be able to do the same thing. So if there is a question they don't see here and they can't find, they can always ask a question. It will be posted to the board here. If no one has answered the question, and that means nobody official, so not an instructor, not an employee, it's going to say no official answer yet. Contacts can reply to each other, so if they think they know the answers, they can answer each other's questions, but it's not an official answer unless you answer it. So what we want to do here is click on Answer It. You'll be able to use the same basic HTML editor to throw in your answer, so you can be basic or very advanced if you like, and then save. I'm not going to save this one, but what you will see is you'll see an option called Read Official Answer. When you click on it, it will bring you to the answer. Because you're a global administrator, you'll also be able to see the edit and delete options you've seen before. Contacts will also be able to mention if the answer has helped. They'll be able to share the answer if they need to, and they can even like it. They can do the same things for your blogs as well. They can like, they can share, and you as a global admin can always edit and delete. If you're ever worried about comments that you see underneath, you'll also always be able to edit and delete any user comments that appear. So one more thing with our questions here, you may see an option called I have this question too. That's allowing you to vote on a question. So if you have a few unanswered questions here, your contacts can vote on what the most important question is, and they can say I have this question too and vote. So just in case you haven't looked at the board for a couple days, you come back, 8 people have voted on one question, you'll probably answer that one first. So that covers up our lounge. So the next part that we're going to go into is how to build pages. So pages mean these tabs across the top here. You can also create something called hidden pages. So right now I've added an additional menu and it's called hidden pages. So these are the basic menus and the basic tabs or pages that you'll start off with. To create more, you want to go to your name at the top right and go to settings. Once you're in settings, you want to go to pages at the left hand side. Here you'll see the same menus that you have up at the top. If you expand these menus, you'll actually be able to see all the different tabs and pages located within them. You may also want to create your own menu. So I usually create a menu called Hidden Pages. This means I can have links to any one of these tabs or within these tabs, but I don't have to have several tabs across the top. So for example, in Hidden Pages, I might have my schedule, but I don't have it displayed up here because it's linked somewhere within one of these tabs. So there's different ways you can use these, and that just prevents a huge pile of tabs from going across the top. So what I would do, I'll go Add New Menu, and if I want to add a new menu, such as Money, Office, Social Site, or Hidden Pages, I can just type in its name here. If I'm making something like Hidden Pages or a specialized menu, I usually put an X at the front, and what that does is it just keeps it at the bottom of the menus. Because my most important menus to me is Money, Office, and Social Site, the stuff I use for my business. Hidden Pages, they're okay, but I'm not working with them on a day-to-day operation. You can also enter a description. So the description is just basically to help you know what it's for. The set menu as startup, that just means when a certain contact logs in, do you want it to be the startup menu for them. You also have your profile here. So you're able to select, okay, there's the global admin and the administrator, maybe they can see this menu. Not checking someone means they can't see it exists. They are able to see the pages within the menu, but they won't see it up at the top here. When you're done creating it, you can go ahead and save. If I want to add pages to a menu, I can click on the menu to see what's there if I like, and I can also click on New Page or Edit. Edit just means I can edit this menu. I can also edit or clone pages I already have in existence. To make a new page, I'm going to go New Page. I want to enter the tab name. So the tab name is what you see appear here. Memberships, albums, contact info. Those are the names of the tabs. You're also going to see something called title. And what title actually is it's what you're going to see up here, okay, at the top of the browser tab. It's good for, your search engine optimization if you want to put in, this is a specific school located in a specific region. You can put, we're in Phoenix, Arizona, or wherever you happen to be. That helps boost your contents and your words. You might want to put a title in there that's a little bit descriptive and, good for SEO and keywords. You're able to select who gets to see the page, administrator, everyone, whoever, just sort of like when we were creating a menu, who gets to see it and have access to it. So you may have like a member-only page, so then you can just take away public and everyone. And there could be a page that's member-only, so they have to log in. Maybe it's located right here next to contact info, but you actually have to log in to be able to see it. Maybe it's something like video demos or something like that. Below, you can design the page if you like. We talk a lot more about page content design on our Day 4 lesson. You can also design the mobile. Once you're done, you can save. I'm going to pop into my hidden pages here. So you can see, for example, here are my hidden pages. I can click on edit to change these at any time. So if you don't want to design it right away, you can always come in here and design it later on or design the mobile later on. Now, what if I want to link this to a page outside? What you want to do is copy that URL you've got up at the top, and then I'm going to take it to another page. So say I'm going to go to my social site. And in my social site, maybe on my contact info page, I'm going to link this, for whatever reason, to that page. So I'll just highlight that, click on the little world with the chain link, throw in my URL, and OK. And save. Now, I'm going to log out and show you how this looks as just a public viewer. So I'm just the public right now. I go to info, okay, and I see this link here, so I click on it. You'll notice that that page that I linked it to has now popped up, but I don't see it along the tabs up at the top. So that's how a hidden page works. You don't see any extra menus up here, you don't see any extra tabs, but that link did open to another page. So it's a good way, especially for promotional pages or landing pages, you're able to kind of open them up into a different spot. So I'm going to log back in here. There is one more thing that we can do if we need to, and that's rearrange these tabs up here. So to do that, let's go to our name at the top right, and we're going to go back to settings, and we're going to just pop back into pages for a second. And when we're looking at our menu here, we can open any of them. We can actually rearrange or move these tabs around. So if I want products and money, I can just drop them in there. If I want products above membership, I can just move it. What you want to do, just grab the name. I usually move a little bit out to the right. I find that works best. And you just want to line up that little green line and drop. The next thing we're going to talk about is how to create forms. So once again, we're in the settings menu, and we're just going to go to forms here on the left-hand side. You can see that I've made a few. You'll probably have a couple as well, like homepage sign up, Facebook, and contact sign up. To create your own unique form, you can go to New Form, or if you want, you can work with one of the existing forms. I'm going to start from scratch just so you know how to do it. Let's go to New Form. So first we're going to name our form. So we could put in anything we want to say. So it could be website sign up, it could be 2-week free promo, whatever you want to say. It's totally internal, it's just so you know what your form is used for. There's also member profile. So member profile means, do you want them to receive an email with a login and password to your social site after they sign up on the form? If you select member, they'll get one. If you select no profile, they'll simply be added into your contact database as a lead. Either way, they will be added to your contact database, but if you select member, they have a login and password. With the login and password, they'll be able to come into your site. If you have member-only areas, they may be able to see them, and they'll also be able to view their own information. They can comment on your lounge, and they can also buy things online as well if they want to. The next part is going to be the object. So we're going to work with contact because we want to create a new contact when someone signs up on the form. Page layout. The page layout we're going to select is going to be online form simple. If you want something a little more complicated, you'll probably have to book a one-on-one training session or attend one of our open question and answer webinars. With the online form simple, that means we're going to get their first name, their last name, their phone number, and their email address. Probably the most important pieces of information you can get on a sign-up form. The next part is the campaign. So we talked a lot about campaigns on our Day 2 webinar. Now we're also going to put them in use. So if you want, you can click on the empty space and select a campaign to attach to the form, or you can create a new one, just like we talked about on Day 2. With the campaign attached, if someone signs up because of this sign-up form, when they become a new contact as a lead, it's going to say that their campaign in this example would be the 2-week trial online. With that popping up on their profile, you'll be able to see, okay, they communicated because of this, they want to know about this, so when I send them an email or when I call them, I know why they signed up, so I can kind of communicate the benefits of the reason they signed up. The general part is the part that will be visible to the public. So you can enter a title, for example, 2-week online trial or 2-week trial or whatever it happens to be. This is visible to them. The description part is really up to you. If you're going to be using the simplified layout, this part will actually not appear. However, if you're using the older version of the layout, it will appear, and I will give you an idea of what those both look like. There's the submit button here. So the submit button just means what do you click to submit the form. Some people like to put in, click here. If it's a contest, you could put I'm feeling lucky, send me more info, join, anything like that. You'll also be able to enter a return and an error URL. So the return URL, after they click submit, do you want it to take them somewhere? So if you wanted to take them back to the home page or maybe a thank you page, you can put in the URL here. If you don't have one, that's fine. After they submit the form, a little message will appear that says thanks for registering. There's also the error URL. So an error URL basically means if, their internet glitches out or something while they're doing this and something happens, a little error message will pop up. Most people don't have their own specific error URL, so it's okay to leave this area blank. You will just get a standard error message if they make an error. Once you're done, you can click save. So after you save a form, you're actually going to see some more information below up here. For example, a link to your form. So what you can do if you want to see your form is you can actually click on this link. And this will show you what your form looks like. This is the older format of the form in case you hear the simplified layout versus the older layout. So this is one type of layout here. This URL, typically you'll use it like if you're sending out an email that has a sign up button in it or anything like that, you'll use this form. You won't be able to use the embedding code in emails. Typically, email servers will just paste out the code and not actually have a form, or a lot of people will just block it because it'll come through looking like a virus. So usually it's best just to say make a click here button in the email where people can click and open up the form. There's also a spot available down here that says embed form. So the first part is simplify layout, which I'll actually show you in a bit, but if you'd like to use a simplified layout, go ahead and check this box. You can also select a color theme for your form. And in here, you can copy up the form script and paste it wherever you want it to go, whether it's your HTML box in one of these tabs here, or your friend's website. This is the code you're going to use. Now, there is a more simplified version of embedding a form if you are using your social site and you're embedding it somewhere into your social site. So I'm just going to use this tab for example. I'm just going to take out this schedule here, and I'm going to start in design mode here. Okay, and if I want to embed a form, there's actually an embed form button located up here. So click on the button. It's going to bring up the different types of forms that you have available. You'll be able to select what kind of layout it is. So if you look at the bottom right now, we can see that it's in the older version of the layout. You can also do a simplified layout. Okay, so you can see that it basically kind of clears away the edging and puts all the field names right into the fields. The color themes, you can select a color theme that you'd like to see. And then the left and top, those are margins, and those are how close can text be to the form. You'll also be able to select the width and the height. Once you're done, you can go to the top and click Insert, and your form will be inserted onto your page. After you save, Sometimes you won't see it right away, so hit F5 on your keyboard to refresh. If you'd like to see how this creates a member, I'll just do a fake sample here. We'll just say Daisy, we'll say Duck, we'll put in a fake email address for Daisy here, and a phone number if we need one. And I'm going to submit that form. Now if I return over to my office, so I'm going to go back to my office here, and I'm going to go to Contacts. You'll now see that Daisy Duck has been added. She is a lead, and at the very bottom of the page, her campaign is the 2-week online trial. The same will actually apply if you're embedding a schedule as well. So you can go to Settings, you can go to Calendar, and Embed Schedule. Here you can select which type of event you want to display. You can select what level of display you're going to have. So member and public exam, for example, if I want to do class, I can see public classes, so any class that has public set. The text for bookings, so you can see there's book, but if I wanted to, I could call it register or join. I can select a color theme. I can select a compact or wide type of schedule. So compact means I'm probably putting it into a small area. Wide means I may be using the whole page, so the text is actually larger. I can select a width, so for example, maybe 800. And if I want, I can change the height as well. You can see here I get a preview, and when I'm happy with my preview, I can copy the embed code and then simply paste that into my pages. So if I'm over here in nutrition, I can go to edit. With that code, how you want to embed it is by going to HTML at the bottom here and then pasting in the code. Okay, so I just pasted it in. I can go back to design. I might see something. If I don't, that's okay. I can save. Like I said, you don't always see it right away, so just hit F5 on your keyboard to refresh. And here's my schedule. The last thing we're going to talk about today is our money section. So while we're in money here, the first tab we see is transactions. And in here we can see all kinds of information about all the transactions that have taken place. So on day 2, we talked about how we could actually go into a contact's profile and look at their specific transactions. Well, here you can see all your transactions, and they'll be listed by date. So you can also click on a transaction to learn more about it. When you're in the transaction here, you can see the invoices and purchases that are related. You can even terminate a transaction. So basically, if Lori here is maybe moving up to a different level and she needs a different type of membership, or maybe she has to move away, if I terminate the transaction, all her future scheduled invoices will be canceled. I can also reprint a receipt through here. If I want, I can also do a few things with my invoices. So if this is a month-to-month contract, for example, I could refund an invoice. So I can click here, go to Actions, and Refund Payment. Okay, I'll have to check off this box and then hit Refund to complete. Also, with the Actions button, I can forfeit and I can process now. So, for example, this is a delinquent transaction. Okay, so it was actually due a while ago. I can go to Process Now, select how it's going to be paid. So if I had Billing Direct set up, I could say it was going to go through Billing Direct. If not, I could say it's check or cash or however I'm going to take it, and OK. I can even take a partial payment. So if they can only give me $30 now, I can say OK. And that partial payment will be taken for that invoice. So if we go back to the invoice here, we can see the remaining balance is $33.50. If I want, I can also forfeit. So forfeiting basically means I'm giving away the transaction, or not the transaction, but the invoice for this particular time period. So if for whatever reason someone's on an ongoing contract, or maybe they've injured themselves and they're on an installment contract, you can actually freeze or give away that part of the invoice if you want by forfeiting. So if you do use forfeit, you are, like I said, forfeiting that amount. The other option is if you need to do a freeze for whatever reason, so they want to continue on with this contract, but they have to basically move this one invoice down to the end of the contract, so after October, because they can't be here this month, you can actually click on the invoice, click Edit, and down at the bottom here I can actually change the invoice date. So if October is the last date, I'll say November 24th, that was the billing date, and save. So we're going to go back to the transaction. And if I look at the transaction, I no longer have that transaction here. It's now at the end of my contract. So I've now just given away that month, but I've added it onto the contract, or I can also just forfeit. Forfeiting, like I said, you're giving it away, so usually best to use if it's an ongoing contract that doesn't actually have an end. When you have something like a 12-month contract, you probably want to take those frozen dates and put them at the end of your contract. You'll also be able to view your income, so anything that you've sold or refunded will be listed here. You can even add manual income if you maybe rent a room and you don't record it through your store. You can add manual income. Expenses. So you can add expenses such as your school rental, so maybe you rent that space, how much you have to pay to heat it. To add this, you can go new expense, enter the item, enter the category, so click on category and you'll see many available options. You'll also be able to actually just add a new expense category through here. So category would be like rent, hydro, water, electricity, whatever you use. You can also select a vendor, so same idea as before, you can select what you have already added, or you can click new vendor to add a new vendor. Only required field is the name, but you can add additional information if you want to, and I usually recommend adding some more information about your vendors. You can add a receipt, you can add what kind of payment it was, credit card number, the cost, and save. You're also able to review your tax. So the tax is US-based tax. If you're using this, you'll be able to see how much you owe based on your sales, and you can even mark down if you've paid that tax or not. So you can see that I've got a paid tax history here. The system will not actually pay your taxes. You'll have to do that with your accountant, but your accountant can say, yep, you've paid the $300, mention what kind of tax it is, enter the amount, and click Pay Now, and it will actually zero out or change the balance that's owing. You'll also have vendors, so you can add vendors in here if you wish. So you can go new vendor and add them this way. You'll also have reports. So mine's a little different, that's why Contact Us and Products are here, but you're just going to finish off with reports. So reports we did talk about on our day 2 lesson. Just to review, the reports related to money will be in here. And some of these reports might make a little more sense now. For example, the income by category or the expense by category. So this will actually show you, how much did you spend on rent. So right now the only one I've entered would be rent, so I can see that there. And income by category will show you my memberships and my products that have been sold. And also profit and loss will look at my sales versus my expenses for the year. And I can even change the year. I can print or export the information that's here. That concludes the day 3 lesson. Look forward to sharing my lesson with you on day 4, which will cover social site.